Starts with a duck. Not just any duck either. A big feather-fluffed mallard with a green head and a strut like it owns the place. It waddles across my backyard patio as I sip my coffee on a sunny Saturday morning, its orange-webbed feet leaving little wet kisses on the flagstone. My 5-year-old son Malik squeals from the sliding door. "Daddy." "Another one." Sure enough, 2 more ducks swoop down and land with a gentle splash in the turquoise blue of our backyard pool. A 4th follows. It's like they got the memo that the Henderson house, black-owned, finally mortgage-free, and sitting pretty in a mostly white gated neighborhood outside Phoenix, is the new hangout. I chuckle and lean back in my chair, letting the warm Arizona sun melt the last chill of the morning. Life's good. After years of hustling tech support gigs, late-night freelance coding, and building apps for people who barely looked me in the eye, we made it. My wife Sierra is upstairs teaching her yoga class over Zoom. Malik is happy the backyard is our little oasis, and we got ducks. But peace, I've learned, is never just peace when you're the only black family on the block. I spot her through the lattice of the hedge, leaning, squinting, nosy as ever. Karen Witherspoon. She lives 3 houses down, always walking her dog like she's inspecting a crime scene. Blonde bob. Polo shirt tucked so tight it looks like it hurts. She hasn't spoken to me directly since we moved in, but she once complained in the neighborhood group chat that our solar panels clashed with the aesthetic integrity of the block. Sierra laughed. I didn't. Today she's got her phone out. I raise an eyebrow. She's pointing it toward my pool. Toward the ducks. I wave. Big obvious. She flinches like I'd thrown something. And just like that she spins on her heel and marches back down the sidewalk, white little dog trotting behind her like backup. Everything okay? Sierra pokes her head out the sliding door. She's glowing from her session, mat rolled under one arm. Karen's filming the ducks. She rolls her eyes. Of course she is. Just ducks, I tell myself. Maybe she's a birdwatcher now. But something tugs at me. A small pull in my gut. Not fear exactly. More like the weight of knowing what small things become when you're black and somebody else decides you're a problem. And here, in a community that smiles tight and says things like, "You people are so polite," problems don't start big. They start subtle. A duck in the pool. A phone pointed just a little too long. A complaint no one hears but suddenly sticks. I reach for my phone, not knowing why I'm recording the ducks too. Maybe for Malik to look back on. Maybe for something else. But I hit record and let it roll as they glide across the water, wings folded, innocent and unaware. Starts with a duck. But it won't end there. By Monday the ducks are back and so is Karen. It's 6:42 a.m. when I hear it. Not the quacking. Not even Malik's delighted laugh as he presses his nose against the glass to watch them swim laps in the pool. It's the barking. High-pitched, incessant, and far too close to our fence line. I step out with a towel draped around my neck, still groggy from a late-night debugging code. Karen stands near the edge of our yard again, leash taut, her dog yipping like it's found contraband. She doesn't wave. Doesn't even pretend to look away this time. Just stares straight at me with that tight smile white folks use when they think they're being polite but want you to know they're irritated. "Morning," I say, already feeling the energy shift. She takes a deep breath like she's been rehearsing this. "Hi. Just so you're aware, I filed a note with the HOA. There's been a complaint." I tilt my head. "About what?" She gestures vaguely toward the pool. "The wildlife. The wee situation. It's becoming a nuisance. Someone said the ducks were aggressive. Flying around making noise. Droppings. It's not sanitary, you know." I glance at the pool. 4 ducks, quiet as saints, paddling in a lazy circle like it's their spa day. "Funny," I say, "they've been here for years. Never had an issue." Her smile tightens. "Well, this is a community, Mr. Henderson. And we all need to do our part to keep it presentable." There it is. Presentable. She doesn't say what she means, but the air says it for her. That word carries weight in neighborhoods like this. Presentable is code for not too loud. Not too colorful. Not to us. I nod slowly. Appreciate the heads up. She walks off and I watch her disappear behind her hedges. A chill runs through me despite the morning heat. That afternoon I notice the HOA email. Subject line, "Homeowner conduct review." Inside, a politely worded paragraph about unauthorized wildlife attractants, unclean pool environments, and concern from multiple neighbors. No names. No actual photos. Just a warning. A gentle reminder. Sierra reads it 3 times and scoffs. They think we invited the ducks? I think Karen wants us to feel watched. And we do. Every day now she passes by. Sometimes twice. Once I catch her pointing her phone not at the ducks but at Malik, who's giggling and tossing bits of bread toward them. I rush outside and she suddenly finds her shoes very interesting. No photos of my son, I say. My voice is calm but I feel it bubbling underneath. She stammers something about community documentation and how she's just trying to keep the HOA informed. At dinner Malik asks why the duckies are bad. They're not, Sierra says. Some people just think everything natural is a threat. I lay awake that night staring at the ceiling fan spinning above. Something isn't sitting right. It's not about ducks. It never was. It's about control. And I'm starting to think Karen didn't file that complaint alone. Wednesday morning I wake up to silence. No quacking. No splashing. Just this strange stillness hanging over the backyard. I pull back the blinds. The ducks are gone. But something else grabs my attention. Small neon flags sticking out of the soil by the back fence. Orange stakes outlining the yard like a crime scene. My stomach drops. There's a notice taped to our gate, flapping in the wind like a warning. Notice of sanitary violation, per HOA Regulation 12.3.7. No body of water may serve as a habitat for non-domesticated animals. I storm outside in my robe, rip the notice down and head straight to my security footage. Around 4 a.m., a white van with a private pest control logo pulls up. 2 men in uniforms slip into the yard with long poles and nets. They don't even knock. I call the number on the van. This is Paul with Arrowhead Pest and Wildlife, the voice says. You removed ducks from my property without permission. Oh, you're at the Henderson place? There's a pause. We were authorized by a board member. Said it was a health emergency. You'll have to speak with them. I don't need to guess who them is. By noon I'm standing in front of the HOA clubhouse, the pavement burning under my feet, clutching a folder of printed screenshots, timestamps and still images. I ask to see the board. They tell me no one's available without an appointment. I refuse to leave. I don't yell, but I make it clear I won't back down. 15 minutes later Karen shows up, stepping out of her SUV like she owns the place. I step forward. You sent people into my yard without consent. She blinks like she's innocent. I don't handle pest control. The HOA does. How convenient. You've been filming my backyard for days and now the ducks are gone. You really think I don't see the connection? They were a health hazard, she says flatly. Neighbors reported duck droppings on the sidewalk. Kids could get sick. I flip open the folder. I have security footage. No droppings. No mess. And not a single complaint until yours. He barely looks. You don't need to make this about race, Mr. Henderson. That hits harder than a slap. I didn't, I say slowly. But you just did. She folds her arms, smug. I suggest you calm down. The board could fine you for aggressive behavior. Behind her, 2 white board members step out of the clubhouse, eyes shifting between us. I turn to them. Did you authorize the removal? One of them, Ron, shrugs. We got reports. She's on the compliance committee. We followed protocol. Did protocol include trespassing at 4 in the morning? He stammers. We assumed you'd been informed. You assumed wrong. By now Sierra's beside me, phone in hand, recording. This is illegal. You entered private property with no warrant, no notice and no emergency. You stole from us. Karen rolls her eyes. You're being dramatic. Funny, Sierra snaps back. That's what guilty people always say. That night I post the security footage on our local Facebook group. Ducks being captured, men sneaking through the gate, timestamp clear. I lay out everything. No notice, no complaint history and the clear implication of racial profiling. The post goes viral. Well, viral for our neighborhood. Dozens of comments roll in. Maria, a Latina neighbor, messages me privately, says she's had similar run-ins with Karen. A young white family comments that their kids loved the ducks and there were never any problems until Karen got involved. Then the HOA sends a formal email. They're launching a review into unauthorized wildlife abatement. Karen posts her own message in the group, claiming I'm harassing her and using social media to stir up division. Her tone shifts from smug to nervous. She brings up Malik. Says she feared for the children's safety because he was interacting with disease vectors. That's when I snap. You brought my son into this. Now it's war. And this time I'm not alone. The meeting ends, but the fallout is just beginning. Karen storms out of the clubhouse, her heels clacking against the pavement like gunshots in retreat. Her husband trails behind her, face red and eyes glued to the ground. She mutters something about lawyers and defamation, but the crowd's already murmuring like a restless tide, no longer fooled. I should feel victorious. But I know Karen's not the type to go down quietly. That night, an email circulates through the HOA listserv, an urgent clarification from Karen herself. He calls me a bully. Says the footage was edited. Claims I manipulated the narrative, and that the real issue was compliance violations and unauthorized animal harboring. She paints herself as the victim of a smear campaign. Some neighbors forward it to me with disbelief. Others, though, I can feel it. Doubt. It starts small like rot behind drywall. She's trying to spin this. But I'm ready for her. Sunday morning, I meet with Officer Ramirez from City Code Enforcement. Sierra reached out to him through a friend. He's one of the few officers who grew up in the area, who understands what it means to be profiled, disrespected, and told to calm down, while your rights are quietly stripped away. I reviewed everything, he tells me, flipping through the folder I handed over. Including the pest control permit. Or should I say lack of permit? My eyebrows lift. She never filed for one. They're required if wildlife removal is done in residential zones. Especially at night. You mean it was illegal? He nods. Every part of it. And the company she used? Not even on the city's approved list. She paid them off the books. I blink. She paid out of pocket? Sure did. We pulled a transaction from her personal HOA expense account, classified under miscellaneous maintenance. He looks at me over the folder. You want to file a criminal complaint? Oh, now we're talking. Monday morning, I walk into the clubhouse with Sierra and Officer Ramirez in tow. Karen's already there, clutching a Starbucks cup like it's a lifeline, nervously tapping her phone. She looks up, spots the badge and freezes. What's this? She asks, forcing a smile. I believe you know Officer Ramirez, I say smoothly. He's here on behalf of the city. He steps forward, professional and calm. Karen Whitmore, I have a few questions regarding your authorization of pest control services. Specifically, your failure to file a removal permit, the unauthorized expenditure of HOA funds, and the misrepresentation of emergency status. Karen laughs nervously. This is ridiculous. I acted in the interest of the community. I was trying to help. You filed false sanitation complaints, I say. Targeted my family. Endangered protected wildlife. And used HOA money for personal vengeance. Ramirez lays a document on the table. Here's the formal violation from the city. And since the ducks were a migratory species, Fish and Wildlife's looking into it too. Her face drains of color. But I'm the one who followed the rules, she starts. No, you made up the rules. And you counted on people being too polite or too afraid to question you. By noon it's everywhere. Someone leaks the permit violation to the local paper. The HOA's social media pages are flooded with calls for Karen's resignation. People start tagging her employer. A neighbor sends me a screenshot. Karen's LinkedIn page quietly vanishes. She tries to post another rebuttal, but the tide's turned. Every comment is a rebuttal. You lied about a child to get ducks removed? Your concern sounds a lot like racism. This is why people don't trust HOAs. She locks her account within the hour. By the end of the week, a special HOA vote removes her from the board entirely. An internal audit is launched. Her husband's forced to step down from his own neighborhood watch position. Malik's teacher sends us a note. She saw the news and her whole class made duck drawings in support. Karen, she's a ghost now. Stays inside. Won't answer the door. A for sale sign appears on her lawn less than a month later. And the ducks? They came back. Not all of them, but enough. Enough to hear them quacking one sunny morning while Malik splashes by the pool, laughing, asking if we can name the new one Sir Quackington. We nod, smiling. But Sierra leans close and whispers, I have a better idea. The following weekend we host a block party. Maria brings empanadas. Mr. Dorsey brings lawn games. Someone sets up a kiddie pool labeled Quack Parade. We even print t-shirts with a cartoon duck wearing sunglasses. The whole neighborhood shows up. And for the first time in a long time, this place finally feels like it belongs to all of us. 3 weeks later, Karen's mugshot hits the local news. Not a flattering one either. Eyes red, mascara smudged, pearls missing. Charged with misuse of HOA funds, filing a false police report, and unauthorized wildlife interference under state conservation law. A third-degree misdemeanor. Nothing that'll put her behind bars for long, but enough to leave a permanent stain on her pristine reputation. The anchor says it with that careful journalistic neutrality. But the subtext is loud. Entitled HOA Woman Gets Caught Abusing Power. Finally, I watch the segment from our living room, Malik curled up beside me, coloring a duck wearing a tiny crown. Sierra's at the kitchen counter, laughing at something on her phone. She lost her real estate license, she says casually. A client posted a 1-star review and linked the arrest report. I raise an eyebrow. That was fast. Turns out racism isn't great for business. We clink glasses not in celebration of her downfall, but in relief. In freedom. Because that's what this whole thing was about. Not ducks. Not pools. Not even the HOA rules she weaponized like a private militia. It was about control. About keeping people like us in invisible cages. No. The bars are gone. Neighbors begin to reach out not just in apology, but in understanding. I thought Karen was just strict, one woman admits at the playground. But I see it now. How she always had something to say when your kid made noise. Not mine. Mr. Dorsey tells me his grandson's riding his bike again. This time, people wave instead of call the police. Maria gets a formal apology from the board for a citation Karen had pushed through on her front garden. The community that once felt like it watched us through narrowed eyes starts to soften. Open up. Change. And yet, the thing that moves me most isn't the headlines. It's Malik. One morning I find him by the pool, whispering to the ducks as they waddle around the edge. He's built a little ramp for them out of scrap wood. Decorated it with stickers and popsicle sticks. They like it better when it's quiet, he tells me, gently placing a breadcrumb. I think they remember us. I kneel beside him. They came back because they know it's safe now. He nods, eyes wide. Because we didn't give up? Exactly. That night, I sit under the string lights we put up after the block party, Sierra on one side, Malik asleep in my lap, and think about how small things grow. How a duck in a pool became a revolution. How silence became a voice. How a woman with too much power got unmasked by a 5-year-old, a few feathers, and a community tired of being quietly erased. Justice didn't come all at once. It never does. But it came loud enough to echo. And that's something even Karen can't silence.